Hey everyone, Kevin here. What I like to do in this video is a recap of the BLU Life Max. This is a 5.5 inch Android phone. I would consider it a budget phone. And it's retailing at £89.99 on launch in the UK. It's going to go back up to maybe around 105, I think. It's already out in the USA about $110. Now I've done a few videos already. I've done an unboxing. I've did a close look at interface, and I've did a video where I showed you the front and back cameras. What I'll quickly do to give you an idea of what this can do, I'll just quickly go through some of the specifications. It's Android 6.0, 3G, 4G, quad band, GSM chip. It's a MediaTek 6737 processor that's quad core at 1.3 GHz with a Mali T720 GPU. I don't have much experience of that CPU or GPU, but it's got 16 gigabytes of storage, 2 gigabytes of RAM, but it's also got a micro SD slot, and that's really good. It means that you can expand the storage up to, well, whatever you want, really. So, as I said, 5.5 inch screen. Now, it's 267 pixels per inch, 720p. But that's a good thing because, it means that it's going to prolong battery life. It's got a Blue Infinite View IPS screen, curved glass. Okay, one of the biggest selling points is the battery. It has a 3,700 milliamp battery. So when you combine that with a 720p screen, you've probably got, light to moderate usage. I would say 2 days of use. Now I use this. I put my SIM card in for a few days to make calls, and I've been using it kind of like, I did all the photo video tests, but I also kind of installed some games and I played around with it. You can look at that closely in the other video I did. And this thing, the battery life just lasts for ages. I've not used this in probably 3 or 4 days, and it's at about 80% battery. It really is impressive. So I think battery life is one of the biggest problems with phones today because our usage has increased. We're all watching YouTube videos more and play games more and using our phones as a computer, really, and battery life hasn't really kept up with it. So this is one of the best selling points of this. It's got a fingerprint sensor in the back, and the front and back cameras, you've got 8 megapixels in the back, 5 on the front. Both of them have flash. Now, one thing to note, I did my last videos and I noted that they were marketing this as if it had 1080p recording on the back, and I showed you guys in my video that they don't. It only has 720p. I've just checked their official website there. Now, I sent a few tweets about this, and I asked them twice to clarify it. Now, bear in mind, I tweeted them before, and they replied very quickly. I tweeted them, I said, what's happening here? Are you lying to customers? Or I don't think I put it as bluntly as that. I think I was a little bit nicer, and I said, can you clarify what's happening? You keep saying 1080p recording, but I've just seen that it's 720p. What's up? And they didn't reply, but I did notice there that they've actually updated their website, so it does now say HD 720p at 30 frames per second video recording. So maybe they have just messed up. I don't know, but it was being duplicated all over the web, all over their sales pitches and their Amazon listings, etc. But at least they've addressed that. It's good that they've addressed that. Right. Okay, I'll just quickly go through again what's in the box. Now, I've actually not opened this box since the unboxing, and that was a few weeks ago. But there it is, right off the bat. You get this screen protector. You get this case with it. Now, in a way, this case isn't really needed because the back of this is faux leather. And if you think back to the Samsung Galaxy Note type of phones, that's really what you're going to be getting. So it's faux leather on the back, and you get this case as well. It's just a thin little case, but it actually looks really good with it on. So if you really want extra protection, I think this looks really good in the back. It's like kind of white grey, but it looks great without it as well with the leather, and it feels really nice in the hand. Build quality is good. It's really easy to get to the back as well. You just take it off and you can get to, this is another thing, in addition to the micro SD card, it's got a SIM card and another SIM card. So it's got 2 SIM cards. I was going to say SIM card on the left, SIM card on the right, and it came out wrong. So it's got a SIM card on the left hand side, a SIM card on the right hand side, and it's got a micro SD as well. So you can put in 2 SIM cards and a micro SD. And it's worth noting that because my girlfriend's got the Blue Vivo 6, and that's got a little tray that you can put in either one SIM and one micro SD or two SIM. So in the other phone, in order to put in a second SIM, you need to sacrifice the SD slot, but you don't have to do that with this one. It's kind of bizarre actually when you think about it, that the cheaper phone's actually got it's actually got a better feature in that regard. So in addition to the case, in addition to that, you do get the screen protector on the front, and that comes on it when you get it. But you get some other things as well. You get a second screen protector in the box. You get the charger, obviously. You get the USB cable. That's the charger. And you get a set of earphones. And there's a couple like stickers and things like that there that I've taken off. And here is the other screen protector. So it's quite good that they throw in basically two screen protectors. It doesn't seem like a lot getting these things, but you need to remember this is a budget phone. And when you've got a budget phone, well, it's budget because they cut corners, right? And there's certain things that they have to, you know, cut corner as far as price, as far as features and things like that. But as far as what you're getting in the box, it's pretty impressive that you get earphones, a case, two screen protectors. You know, there's a lot. I mean, even the top end phones, some of the phones that you're getting like several $100 or whatever, they don't give you as much as this. You know, they're not throwing in screen protectors and they're not throwing in a case. So when you take that into regard, it's a pretty good package. Now, as far as how it runs, it's really, really quick. For a phone of this type, at day-to-day use, this is the thing. I've not been like throwing everything at this. I've been watching YouTube videos. I've tried a couple of silly little games that I played. Everything was fine. I don't know if this would handle the top of the range, you know, the top of the line games that you get on the Google Play Store. But you know, if you're wanting that, you're not going to buy a budget phone. I mean, I don't think 99% of people who play games are going to be playing the top end games anyway. I think they're going to be playing, you know, the average games that can get away with 2 gigabytes of RAM and a quad-core processor. And saying that, I mean, quad-core and 2 gigabytes of RAM is pretty good, so it's not something I think you need to worry about. YouTube's fine, browsing is fine, everything's really quick. And there's a little app here, BLU, where you can register and you get warranty and you get your support, etc. Apart from that, this is pretty much stock Android as far as there's no apps in here that are annoying. It's not like Samsung that they just put lots and lots of fitness apps and all these other apps that drain your battery. They're not there. You're pretty much getting vanilla, as they say. So if you've used an Android phone, you know what to expect from this. The one area I think they've really scrimped on is the camera. So if you really need a top of the range camera, this isn't the phone for you. You know, 8 megapixels in the back and 5 at the front. In daylight, you know, it's what is it? It's 20 past 1 just now. At this time of the day, lots of sunlight, indoors and out. You're fine. Your photos will look good. It's when the nighttime comes, when the light goes away, you're in low light. This is where this camera struggles. You know, the front and the back camera are pretty terrible at nighttime. And if you look at the video, I'll link to the videos that I did before, but if you look at the videos, you'll see what I mean. I took some videos when I was outside and it was dark, but there was light, there was street lights, there was, you know, light coming from cars, etc. And it was pitch black. Pitch black. You couldn't see me, you couldn't see anything. And it's unusable almost at nighttime. It does have a flash in the front and the back, but what happens is you've got the kind of rabbit in the headlights kind of thing where it's pitch black and then it flashes and your eyes are all closed and you look crazy. If camera, you know, if the quality of camera isn't a major problem for you, then this is fine. I mean, the thing is, for little silly pictures for Facebook and things like that, Twitter, then it's probably going to be fine. But if you're going out with friends and you're at dinners and get out parties and things like that, this will frustrate you. But at the end of the day, you know, you get what you pay for, and this is a budget phone. But for the price, you need to remember as well that you can buy remember like the old Nokia brick phones at £40, £30 and things like that. This isn't that much more, and you're getting Android, you're getting 2 gigabytes of RAM, you're getting a quad-core processor, and you're getting a hell of a battery, throwing all the features, etc. So, whilst the camera is disappointing, as a package, this is a fantastic little phone. There's no denying that this is a great phone for the money. Now, it's worth noting that I've not read too much into this, but I did read something about it. There was a problem last year with BLU. Well, I think it was the end of last year, and there was a problem that get caught out apparently where they'd put spyware or something into their phones, and that is very worrying. Now, apparently they've addressed it. They didn't realise it. The whole PR campaign about they didn't realise it, or etc. etc. As far as that goes, that's the thing. I don't believe what the newspapers say, that the conspiracy is that all your phones are being, tapped, from the Chinese government and all that kind of thing. All that. That's a lot of crap. I think what they've done is essentially what they must have done. It wasn't with this phone, but it wasn't with the other phone I bought as well. I think it was. I don't know if it was the earlier phones, but I think what they were guilty of is trying to make some money on the sly. Now you can say that. I mean, all phones are made in China anyway, but I don't know if they've made a bad decision. I don't know, but it was obviously very sneaky, but they've been caught out and they've apologised, etc. Take into that what you will. It's not good, but what I would say is that if you look at any major company, and this, I'm certainly not defending BLU for what they're doing because it was a really scummy thing to do, but if you look at any major company, Samsung, Google, etc., they're all guilty of doing things in the background that are less than nice, to put it that way. Whether it be selling your information to other people or installing apps that they're not telling you and that kind of thing. And I think BLU's no different in that they get caught out. And I don't think it's something major to worry about, if I'm honest. But if you do worry about something like that, it is something I really need to talk about. Okay, I think I've covered most of the things about the phone. I'll link to the phone, the Amazon listings for the phone below. Check it out. In summary, this is a very affordable little phone. And if you're looking for an Android phone and you don't want to spend several $100s on a Google Pixel phone, if you don't want to spend several $100s on an Apple iPhone, then you really will be surprised at what you can get for so little money. There's a lot of people out there and they're so used to paying, like £50, $50 a month for their phone contract or spending several hundred on a phone that they don't realise that the bottom end of the market has really, really developed quickly. In the past, it's not even going to that. I was in South America for a few years, and at the time I spent, I think it was about £150, so like $175, $200 or something at the time. And I bought the cheapest Android phone I could buy because I needed a phone. I didn't want to take my iPhone out everywhere because I'd get mugged, basically. I was in a poor country. So I bought the cheapest Android phone, and it was completely unusable. 100% unusable. It had something like 128 megabytes of RAM. There was no SD card. It was a piece of crap. And it wasn't even a proper touchscreen. It was like the older style one where you had to push the buttons in. It was horrendous. And that's only like, what was that? That's probably 5 or 6 years ago. That's not a long time ago for me. And it's basically went from the bottom end of the market, came from, it's went from, you had to pay a few £100, a few $100s for phones that were terrible, absolutely terrible. And now we're at the point now you can pay, like $100 and you get specifications that were flagship a few years ago. So if you're spending a lot of money on your phone, I would reconsider it. Really, the biggest differential between the lower end of the smartphone market and the higher end is the camera. I think, the fact that you can get 2 gigabytes of RAM and get, a quad-core processor and a phone that cheap is pretty impressive. And really, when you go up the specifications, you do get a little bit of extra RAM, you do get a faster processor, but really it's the camera. Day-to-day usage, this thing is rapid and the battery life is amazing. So, in short, if you don't care about having the best camera in the market and you want to save some money, I would take a closer look at this. I'll leave some links to my other videos below, guys, and I'll open it up to you so you can leave a comment, give your thoughts on it. Thanks for watching, but please do check out my other videos. I know I've just been sitting here talking about it. My other videos are more close up. I do appreciate you guys watching, and I'll speak to you all soon. Till next time, take care.